What is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Courtney. If you guys are new to my channel and don't know who I am or like what kind of videos I make beauty, health, fitness, fashion, literally like every single category. It's a channel where it's just a very real and raw channel, and I talk about all aspects in life. So today's video is going to be another one in my Girl Talk series. And if you guys are not aware of what my Girl Talk series is, it is pretty much just a video where I talk about like real life stuff. So in my latest Girl Talk video, which I'll link right here if you guys have not seen it yet, I talked about toxic relationships, and I shared my story with my toxic relationship that I was in. I've also talked about my health journeys. It's just a video where I can share some of my insight and share some advice and offer some tips for you guys if you guys are going through the same thing that I am. Today's video is going to be another toxic relationship video, but this time it's aimed towards toxic friendships. So as I said, the last video I did was more like toxic relationships, like more an intimate relationship. Whereas this one is more friendships. And obviously I have to give you guys my story with my toxic friendships. If you guys want to hear my story with my crazy kleptomaniac best friend, keep watching. I don't have tea, but I will drink my water and share my story, and then I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how you guys can get out of this really toxic friendship and start focusing on yourself and finding people that are more like you. So if you guys are interested in hearing about my toxic friendship, then keep watching. We're just gonna roll right into it because the story might be a little bit long. So I'm just gonna start off by saying, if you are watching this video, because in the past she has previously told me that she does watch my videos, this is not to embarrass you. I'm not gonna use your real name. I don't feel any sort of resentment or hate towards you. It's, you know, you live, you learn, you grow, you evolve. I'm gonna use the name Becky for this story, and don't even bother scrolling through my Instagram trying to find a Becky, because you will not find a Becky, I promise you. I just don't wanna include any real names because I don't wanna embarrass the poor girl, even after all the shit she put me through. I'm gonna give you a background story of her and I and everything like that. We actually worked together at a restaurant. That was my first serving job. I was there for like 5 years. I've had a lot of great memories there, but anyways, all I do is like ramble on. We met there and we quickly became very, very close. We had a lot in common. She was a few years older than me, but we found out that we were like interested in a lot of the same things. We had a lot of mutual friends, and our relationship just started to grow a lot. In the beginning, there was things that kind of checked off in my head, like, she's definitely lying, but I just kind of put it in the back of my head, to be honest. For an example, I would come to work wearing a Marc Jacobs bag. And she would, every time I would come in with like a nice bag or nice shoes or something, she would always tell me that she had the same thing, which is weird, like, which I knew she didn't. I knew she was lying, but like, I don't understand why she would lie about that. Like, she just felt like she always had to lie about things. That's just one little things of the very many things that she did, and how I found out she was actually a very toxic friend. So Becky and I became very, very close, and a lot of the girls I worked with actually warned me about her and just got a weird vibe from her. I honestly didn't see that in the beginning. I truly did not see that in the beginning. I thought she was a great girl. She was very well educated. She came from a great family. You think she would be raised properly with respect and just morals. But obviously mental health can affect that, and that's clearly what this is. Her and I got really close, but my coworkers started telling me, Courtney, watch your back on this girl. She is off. And you know, I acknowledged what they said, but I continued my friendship with her. And it wasn't until a few months after she started working with us that things started going missing out of our change room in the back. And keep in mind, our restaurant was very family oriented, very close knit. Those girls were like my sisters, and still to this day, I consider them like a huge part of me, like growing into who I am. They were there for like a lot of shit I went through. Oh my God, why am I like wanting to cry about that? I'm so emotional, guys. So things started going missing in the back change room, such as money, gift cards, even like people's clothing and stuff. One of my coworkers suggested that we set up a hidden camera in the back room to try to catch her in the act. I was not on board with that because obviously a part of me didn't want to believe that she was this person that everyone was telling me she was. So I kind of just sat back and allowed that to happen. And it turns out the only bag she was digging through was mine. I don't feel like I got anything stolen, but again, I wasn't keeping track of my cash that I would keep in my bag. I know that's really bad. But when you're working in the restaurant industry, you have a lot of cash. So I couldn't tell you if I had cash stolen from me on the reg. I have no idea. But what we caught on camera was her literally just like going like this, like so fast through my bag. She didn't take anything, but she just had that like, I don't know if it was like an urge that she had to do that or something. And it was weird. So we brought it up to the owners, who were also our managers. And they pretty much were like, well, we can't really do anything about it because she didn't really steal anything. And also keep in mind, it's a close-knit family restaurant. They didn't want to start anything. Anyways, that's one thing, kind of let it slide, forgot about it, moved on. So another thing was we were planning a trip for my 21st birthday to go to Vegas. You know, she was 2 years older than me, so I was actually finally legal to like go to Vegas and party and stuff. And we honestly had a great time, I'm not gonna lie. We had a lot of fun, we partied, we ate at all these nice restaurants, we did a little shopping. It was a really fun time. I know for a fact how much cash I brought to Vegas. It was $1,200. And we obviously kept our cash in the little safe in the room. I had $200 missing from the safe. And obviously I know it was her, but I was never going to, like, can you imagine like how awkward that would be to like call your best friend out for stealing from you? I don't know, I just couldn't do it. So I was very passive about it. I literally probably said something like, oh, that's so weird. I could have sworn I had $200 more. I knew it was her. I knew in my heart that she had stolen that money, but I never brought it up again. So passive, so like such a pushover that I used to be. I'm not like that anymore. If I know someone stole from me, I'm gonna obviously call them out. So that was another thing. I started catching on, like she does steal from people. You know, we would kind of talk about it when we stay after work with like, I don't wanna say we would gossip about it, but I guess we would gossip about it when she wasn't there. It's weird because a chef that actually worked at the restaurant I was at knew her older brother, and he said like their families knew each other, so at Christmas and like holidays they would all come together and have dinner and stuff. And he told us that at those times she would steal like snacks and stuff from his house. So she would go through the cabinets and like steal like, I don't know, granola bars or whatever snack. So obviously I was putting two and two together and realizing that she's not doing these things because she's a bad person. She's doing these things because she has issues. But that still makes her a toxic friend. Don't give yourself excuses as to why you should still be with someone. If they're toxic, they're toxic. I just wanted to say that. So another thing that she did that I will never forget was I actually caught her stealing from me. Her and I were really close, so I was very generous about me letting her borrow like my designer things. She would borrow like my designer bag, she would borrow clothes, like whatever. Like we were just, I trusted her. I never thought in a million years she would actually like steal personal objects from me. And I was proven wrong. So I am very responsible with my things. I didn't come from a lot of money, so everything in my life that is fancy or designer, I keep real good care of. Like, I know exactly what shelf in my room this bag's on, what drawer this designer of this is, and like, I'm very, very careful with that. So one day I realized that I had misplaced my Tiffany necklace. It was the one and only Tiffany necklace that I actually owned, and I found it so weird because I was always so good with keeping track of where my stuff is. So instantly, I don't know why, but something in me was telling me to message her, to reach out. Maybe she saw it or something, I don't know. So I texted her and was like, hey, by any chance have you seen my Tiffany necklace? I think she must have replied with like, oh no, did it go missing or something? And I was like, yeah, I can't seem to find it. She's like, oh, well, no, like I'll let you know if I see it around or something. At this point, I had convinced myself that maybe I had like vacuumed it up or something, until literally probably 2 weeks later, we decided to hang out. She came over and she forgot she was wearing my Tiffany necklace. This girl forgot to take it off. It's like, if you're gonna be that person who steals from people, keep track of like what you, like, be careful about it. Don't be such an idiot about it, right? So she walks into my room and instantly I'm like looking at her neck and I'm like, in my head I'm thinking, do I ignore it? Do I pretend I don't see it? No, that's my necklace. I should say something. So I was like, is that my necklace? And she's like, oh yeah, like, don't you remember you let me borrow it? Like totally ignoring the fact that we literally just had a conversation about me asking her if she knew where it was. Like completely just like disregarded that conversation. And me being the person I am, and this is probably why she treated me the way she did, was because I was very passive and I played stupid a lot of the time. So I was like, oh yeah, I probably just don't remember, but yeah, I need that back. And just kind of like let it slide. I didn't even make her take it off then and there. I literally like remember she actually went home with it on. And then I texted her and was like, hey, can you just bring that necklace to work tomorrow? The fact that she literally stole an object from me and was wearing it in front of me because she had forgotten to take it off. Like, what? So crazy. Like, what the hell? I guess I'll share one last story about her before I get into some tips. The last story about how I realized that this girl was very, very toxic was, she was a nurse at the time and she actually was working for, and at this time I was seeing someone, and you know, we got along, we like whatever, we were having fun, this and that. And obviously with her being my best friend, I shared everything with her, so she knew like who I was seeing and everything like that. So I didn't think anything about it. And then one night I was over at this guy's house, we were just hanging out, and he goes, hey, you know what's really weird? He's like, you're really good friends with Becky, aren't you? Like, aren't you like best friends? I was like, yeah. She like works for your team or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I see her like quite often. And he goes, she also sent me this, and pulls up his Instagram and goes through his DMs of her messaging him, asking him to hang out and take her on a date, and how attractive he is and how handsome he is and this and that. And I was like, my jaw just dropped. I was like, you're kidding. Like, this girl is literally gonna go to the limit of like trying to literally, like, why? I've literally done nothing to you, but like, why? I don't understand why. Needless to say, that was pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back. The other stories that I told you were probably in your eyes more worse than this one, but it was just like a buildup of everything happening. And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I can no longer be friends with someone like this. I have given you so much of my time. I've been so kind to you, and this is what I get back. Like, no. I texted her and I was like, hey, pretty much told me that you sent him a DM asking to hang out. Like, you know that I actually really like him and this and that. And you know, she gave me a bunch of excuses as to why she did it and like this and that. Honestly, I think shortly after that, I just started distancing myself from her. And at this point, she knew that pretty much everyone she worked with wasn't a fan of her. And shortly after that, she quit. So that's that. Yeah, that's my tea. That's my toxic friendship tea. You live and you learn, people. Now I'm gonna give you some tips on how, if you guys are going through a friendship like this, how to get away from that. Because you don't want that kind of toxic energy around you. You just don't want it. And it's actually said that the 5 closest people to you make up the average of who you are as a person. So if you are hanging out with toxic people, even one toxic person in your life regularly, you need to reevaluate your friends. Because, I mean, studies have shown that the 5 people you hang out with make up an average of who you are. Keep that in mind, girls, when you are trying to figure out why maybe you're being held back in life, or why you feel a certain way, or why you can't attract good people in your life. You probably have someone in your life that is not good for you. Now I'm gonna talk about some signs. If you girls are unsure of whether you know you're in a toxic friendship or not, I'm gonna share with you guys some signs so you guys can know right away if you guys are in one of these toxic friendships. And the first one is pretty much you never feel supported by this person. Often I would never feel support from this person. I guess going back to my story, I can give you an example. At this point, I had just dropped out of my first year of college. She was a nurse at this point, and she would always make remarks about how pathetic, she wouldn't use the word pathetic, I don't remember what she would use, how low dropouts are and how they have no success in life going for them. I don't know if those comments were intentional, but they really hurt me, and I would just literally take it every time. I would never stand my ground. That's just an example. So if they don't support you at all, then that is definitely a toxic relationship. Friends should support you no matter what. Even if they don't agree with what they're doing, this is how you would approach it. You know what, I love you so much and you're my best friend, and no matter what you choose to do in life, I will support you regardless. But I just think that maybe you should think about this, or don't worry about this, there's a lot of other opportunities coming your way or something. Like, there's always a way of wording things where you're not picking on that person. So if you feel like your girlfriends are not supporting you, it's a toxic relationship. So another one is they either lie to you or they steal from you. And obviously I just shared my story. That friend definitely did that. No friend, no one that you love or loves you will lie to you or steal to you. Another thing is toxic friends tend to be very low vibe all the time, and I'm gonna get into how low vibe, high vibe in another video I'm filming, because girl, you want to be high vibe all the freaking time. Being high vibe is just monumental. It literally is just like, whew, it's changed my life. But anyways, if you are around people who are low vibe, and if you guys don't really know what that means, it means people that, for an example, that gossip, that are, you know, have like just bad energy towards them, that always have to talk poorly about people, that lie, that steal, that cheat, stuff like that. That is low vibe energy, and you don't want to be around people with low vibe energy. So if your girlfriends are those people that are low vibe, it's toxic. So another thing is if they constantly put you down. For an example, I shared with you my story about me dropping out and how she would say comments like that. A friend should never put you down. There's always a way of going about things if you don't agree with your friends, because obviously people, you don't always have to agree with everything that your friend's doing or saying, but there's always a way around it to make it seem like it's actually coming from a place of your heart. Another thing is they might try to change you. How you can go about this, there's two ways. The first is talk to them. Sit them down and tell them how you're feeling, because if they're a friend in your life that has been a friend in your life for many years and you're not willing to give up that friendship just yet, talk to them. Sit them down, have an adult conversation, and tell them everything that's on your mind. Tell them how you're feeling and tell them how they make you feel. This person might not even know that they're acting a certain way, and you know, it could be eye-opening for them and actually helpful for them to grow. So if you have that conversation and it works, then amazing, all the power to you. But if you have this conversation and they are standoffish or don't want to own up to anything, it's a sign that you need to move on from that friendship and cut ties. So another thing you could do is like set boundaries of what you feel is comfortable. Obviously be direct and never be afraid, which is something that I always did. It wasn't like I was afraid, I was just never direct. I hate conflict. So the thought of like saying something that could cause any sort of conflict literally makes me so nervous. So I would just let things go all the time. Don't do that. Stand your ground and be direct and tell that person how you're feeling. If you guys truly love each other, then they should understand and they should totally be okay with trying to work things out. So if this is something in your life where, you know, the conversation doesn't work, they are not willing to change, some things that you can do to try to slowly transition them out of your life. There's nothing wrong about, you know, canceling plans with that person or not making as much plans with them anymore, because people's interests change over time. And maybe, yes, you were friends for 6-7 years, but that doesn't mean you have to be friends for the rest of your life. And I know that might be a tough pill to swallow for some people, but if they're not bringing the best out of you as a person, they are toxic. You want to be the best version of yourself. You want to thrive. And if this person is constantly holding you back and being a bad influence, or maybe you notice whenever you're around them, all you do is party or gossip and stuff, they're toxic. What you could do is you can just slowly transition out of that friendship, maybe not spend as much time with them. If you have to cancel plans on them and make excuses in the beginning, that's totally what I did. I just stopped making plans with Becky. And slowly I realized that I actually didn't really need her as a friend, because I came to the realization of who she really was at the core. I feel like once you realize that that friend is toxic and not doing anything for you in your life, then the fact of letting them go is gonna be a much easier process for sure. I think I've touched pretty much on everything as far as like toxic friendships go and like what you should do if you're in one. And I just wanted to say to anyone that might be in a toxic friendship that in order to grow, you need to have like-minded people in your life. And as I said earlier, there's no problem at all with just unfriending someone. I know that might sound really, I don't know, I think that might sound intense to some people, but think about yourself and think about your future and think about, would you want this person in your life if they're gonna continue being the way they are? Probably not, right? It's a time to be selfish and to really think about what you want as a person. Once you actually have time to reflect on you and your friendship with this person, you will realize what you need to do in order to evolve, in order to grow. Okay guys, that is it for another Girl Talk video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you guys like these Girl Talk videos, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so I know that you guys want to see more of these, because I know it's a lot of talking and it's not a lot of creativity, it's just a lot of talking. So if you guys like these videos, give it a thumbs up. And obviously, I'm gonna say, if you guys are not already subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do so. I have a lot of good content coming your way, so I'm very excited about that. I think that's all. I think that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be back with more videos. Bye guys.